Hi, I'm your host, Terry J. Aman, and with Harvey Danger, Halestorm, the Heartthrobs, the Hollies, Whole Helmet, Hilltoppers, Highly Suspect, and Hootie, and the Blowfish, this episode of VideoFuzzy the Soundtrack is brought to you by the letter H. Hit it! VideoFuzzy the Soundtrack. Episode 9, Flagpole Sitta. There's been a lot going on with me life-wise. A lot of it centers on family and work. I don't feel this is a great space for processing stuff like that, except to say that when I was first listening to this set a few months ago, I was struck by the timing of Jack the Lion from Harvey Danger, that exploration of loss in a pop release. I think Blue October's Hate Me struck me as well, and I've talked about Elvis Costello's Veronica. Just saying goodbye to people in my life has been rough. Lots of thoughts, lots of road time, feeling isolated when you can't get places you need to or spend the time you'd want. I guess we have what time we have and the memories we've made. I feel that it's all valid because we're all part of a great big jam session, improvising with each other to make the best sound we can. Chords build, clash, there's occasional discord, but harmonies emerge and we follow each other along. Players bow, they fade, they leave the stage and we miss the part they played, but there's an echo, a resonance, and we carry on themes and include them in our own songs best we're able. That depth of tone as the orchestra plays on. More immediately, I'd wanted to get this into the feed sooner because this set included a beautiful end-of-year celebration. Hans Zimmer's contemplative piece from Toys soundtrack, the closing of the year. It spoke to me as the perfect way to bid farewell to 2023, but this episode wasn't going to be ready until now, so I shared the song on episode 91 of VideoFuzzy, which was released last month, except I beat the track beyond all human recognition with choir effects and pitch shift and reverb and overlays. I just want to share a cleaner run of it here. If I cannot bring you comfort, then at least I bring you hope. For nothing is more precious than the time we share, and so we all must learn from small misfortunes and count our blessings that are real. Let the bells ring out for Christmas at the closing of the year. Let the bells ring out for Christmas at the closing of the year. My heart, that's Hans Zimmer's Closing of the Year from Toys. Track it down if you get a chance. And now, title track. Harvey Danger's Where Have All the Merrymakers Gone is a deceptively bleak demand of the universe for the collection of songs that arrive under that title. The band put an energetic post-grunge punk vibe on full display in their hit single from the 1997 release, Flagpole Sitta. There's a sing-song schoolyard taunt to the melody which fits the introspective energy of the lyrics. From the very first line, we're in the man's head, Sean's head. Sean Nelson, per Wikipedia, lead singer for the band since 1993. I had visions, I was in them, I was looking into a mirror to see a little bit clearer the rottenness and evil in me. Spend what time we like. If you're looking for it, you're more likely to find. Though Sir Elton suggests there's no point in trying to get whiskey from a bottle of wine, and post decades of a seemingly relentless search, Bono, to date, has not. I would spend days on the search because I consider myself whole, hale, and of the light, but looking for rottenness and evil in oneself is subjective anyway, because when it comes to our own flaws, we develop blind spots, and our default tends towards forgiveness. As detailed, Sean's, explore, one suspects, a past love. fingertips have memories, I can't forget the curves of your body. And when I feel a bit naughty, I run it up the flagpole and see who salutes, but no one ever does. Well, we've already ratcheted way down from rottenness and evil to a bit naughty, but there is a lot to unpack in this line. The topic of masturbation has been explored in a bunch of pop songs. In my own lifetime, offhand, I can recall Atlanta Rhythm Section's Imaginary Lover, Billy Squire's The Stroke, Prince's Darling Nikki, Cyndi Lauper's She Bop, Britney Spears' I Wanna Go, and Pink's You in Your Hand. This reference seems glancing, however, eclipsed in the assertion of the chorus. I'm not sick, but I'm not well, and I'm so hot, 'cause I'm in hell. Well, we examine the partially formed outer edges of a worldview, been around the world and found that only stupid people are breeding. The Cretans cloning and feeding, and I don't even own a TV. Wow, Okay, so this is one of those statements that face both ways, that only stupid people are breeding, and that who would bring a child into a world like this, or only stupid people are breeding, which sounds a bit incel, especially having the judgy, the Cretans cloning and feeding. Like, damn, you stupids are using up all the resources. So, it's likely more the second read, and the kids didn't really have a say about being here, just saying. Then is described the most egregious case of malpractice, where he's committed for some kind of nervous breakdown and the surgeon cuts off his legs. Put me in the hospital for nerves and then he had to commit me. He told them all I was crazy. They cut off my legs, now I'm an amputee. Okay, this is about the most stream of consciousness existence, where a guy is contemplating his inner life and moral compass, his state of health and being, his past loves and desires, the nature of life, the universe, and everything, and when he seeks counseling, he is ticked for amputation. I'll come back to the bridge, because it all builds to paranoia, everybody's coming to get me. Well, that's, hear the voices in my head, I swear to God it sounds like they're snoring. But if you're bored, then you're boring. The agony and the irony, they're killing me. Whoa! Where he ends up so hot, 'cause in hell, it being such a sin to live so well. Step back to that bridge for a moment. Contemplating his inner life, we engage with a much calmer Sean, more focused, less frenetic, far less manifesto-y dreams and ambitions. I want to publish scenes and rage against machines. I want to pierce my tongue, it doesn't hurt, it feels fine, the trivial sublime. I'd like to turn off time and kill my mind, and kill my mind. The self-examination in the bridge touches on rage as defined by the time against injustice, a wish to step outside of time, then via death by irony, he does so. His situation all the more upsetting by this point, but from another perspective, the entire song takes place in the life of his mind. He's upset by upsetting things, then contemplates another outcome. To this point, the song is a bit convivial for its darker tones. Step back and it's just a fun post-grunge punk party song with lyrics that make you want to think, but a tune that makes you want to dance. Harvey Danger's Flagpole Sitta broke into the top 40 and was the band's highest charting effort. The video released alongside the single tracks the band setting up for a gig through a cocktail party, then a goth scene, then a rave, a mosh pit, an asylum, and then a soundstage where the audience, in the end, is a monkey. So it seems like they had an opinion about audience engagement as well. The song I liked best of theirs was Carlotta Valdez, and I think I'd recently seen Vertigo on TCM or something, so all the references were fresh and new, but the song tracks the primary beats of that Hitchcock classic, along with lead singer Sean's nebbish, button-down look. It cements the band in my mind as a smart, thoughtful, more of a say-something kind of band. Like, From Terminal Annex, the lyric, like a zero drowning in a sea of higher numbers. And I'd already mentioned their willingness to examine pain and loss up there with Jack the Lion. And whether any of that's true or not, listeners are absolutely invited to explore what they're saying about reconnection or stalking, but certainly boundaries in Private Helicopter and Woolly Muffler. That one, we get the image of all I ever thought it would come to, second dates and flirting eyebrows. Or maybe psychic friends. Up to, I think, one of the strongest lines in the compilation. Friends will turn against you. People disappoint you all the time. So if you got greatness in you, won't you do us all a favor and keep it to yourself? Apart from a vaguely Shakespearean reference, it encapsulates the band's misanthropic energies while also validating that energy, which flows throughout the LP. Mostly I'd say it was fun to reconnect with these 90s artists, enjoy some riffs from my late 20s, and dig into some of the thoughts that they raised with their music. Thanks, guys.
Lost Tracks.
For this set, songs that failed to transfer properly from one PC to the next, there's only one actual addition, Long Cool Woman by the Hollies. As mid-century storytellers go, it's one of those small towns along a highway, sort of blink and you'll miss it. Per libretto, the singer is a federal agent at a downtown nightclub set to report contraband to local authorities when a tall, attractive woman takes the mic. Momentarily distracted, he pulls her to safety when gunplay inexplicably ensues, followed just as non sequitur by resolve du contretemps, the appearance of the DA he never had a chance to inform, and his sudden infatuation with the title character, whose name we never learned, nor all that much about her beyond her height, attire, gait, inventory, and knowledge of where it is, in fact, at. We do learn her presence in the nightclub quite put this agent about, and inflamed both his passion and his hero complex. The boy was smitten, and intentioned to propose marriage, which sounds like that love at first sight thing. His training as a federal agent seems not to have covered the potential that the presence of an irresponsibly beautiful woman in a dry county nightclub could be intentional so as to bewitch such agents and allow people who were doing wrong to get out with a head start in the confusion arising from random gunplay. All of this far more deliberation than we received from the singer's entrance at the 28-second mark, plus 25 seconds of instrumental break and the trail off what's left of this track, like maybe a minute and a half of actual singing in this 3.25-minute song. You know, it always did seem a little sparse. I was gonna say we learned more about that woman in their 1966 release, Bus Stop, adorable little meet cute, but at least in Long Cool Woman, we learned that she was 5'9", beautiful, tall, wears a black dress, she's a chanteuse at a speakeasy, she moves like a big black cat, has it all, and is said to know where it's at. By way of comparison, the woman in Bus Stop is unprepared for inclement weather, accepts offers to share rain gear regardless of need, takes the bus regardless of whether she has need of it, and within a month or two of this, onlookers notably remarked upon as bizarre behavior, this secured some kind of engagement with the singer, which anyway is abandoned 5 years later when he repatriates to the U.S., signs on as federal agent, and investigates this nightclub. I'd added Bus Stop to my collection in 2010, however, so that one actually transferred properly. The only ones I ever had problems with were purchased between 2006 and 2009. Other LPs added to my collection include Cleopatra Grip by the Heartthrobs, which I think I encountered this as one of the very first CDs I owned, a promotional copy I acquired somehow while at the University of North Dakota that included a promotional EP titled Dreamtime. I enjoyed the tracks Tossed Away, Calavera, and Dreamtime, as well as I See Danger off the Dreamtime EP. The rest of the tracks pretty much all received 4 stars, which is excellent, including White Laughter, very dark piece, In Vain, Blood from a Stone, and Dreamtime. Deep sleep slides round Close your mouth. Stay blind. It's dream time. It's dream time. Dream time. And we're so tired. So tired of everything. Of snowflakes on eyelashes. And all our favorite things. Then I've got Big Commotion, which sounds like a song Quinn Morgendorffer would sway about to indifferently while Joey, Jeffy, or Jamie brought her sodas and cheeseless pizza. Can't dance without the motion. Can't force a big commotion. Can't swim in pages of ink. Can't drown in the kitchen sink. Can't dance without the motion. 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 Live by accentuation. Not by invitation. Like a tiny new volcano. Have fun out in limbo. Can't dance without the motion. 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 Oh, okay. I'm gonna stop him there because no, really, I'm just gonna carry. You know what? Somewhere one of them is still just singing that line. It's I gave that 4 stars. I feel like I really need to revisit that sometime. Most of the 4-star ones by this group are right on that 3-star, 4-star edge. I guess I was feeling generous, probably because nostalgia. That said, I re-listened to a bunch of them putting this together. They're pleasant enough background as pop music goes. Finally, probably everyone else in Generation X, I got Eagle Eye Cherry's Saved Tonight. No, I can't dance without the... I did have that one, like everyone else in my generation, sold it back to the discontent for pretty much a disposal fee by the end. So, no, I was going to say Darius Rucker made some decent inroads into country crossover, but he started as a legit rock artist, as lead vocalist for Hootie and the Blowfish. Wikipoodle says in 2009, Rucker was the first black artist named CMA's Best New Artist of the Year, and only the second black artist to win any award from that organization. But in the 1990s, he was playing David Letterman. I think I saw Hootie. I figured out which one was Hootie, Dave said as they finished up their I'm Told network television debut in 1994, singing Hold My Hand, which had to be annoying since the band name was reportedly taken from a couple of college friends' nicknames, but lots of people assumed since Blowfish can be plural, Hootie's the singer in the band are the Blowfish. Not the case, but what you gonna do? Ahead of the performance, Letterman held up a copy of Cracked Review released in, as he called it, the popular format of compact disc. I'm pretty sure I brought mine in from cassette because, well, somewhat muted sound quality for one thing, but also one of the songs in my collection was misnamed Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child rather than Sometimes I Feel, which is the name of the track. And several of these ended up as 4 or 5-star ratings. Again, probably more nostalgia than anything else. Their breakout hit, Hold My Hand, I gave 4 stars, along with Look Away, Drowning, and Time, among others. The one I gave 5 stars from that compilation was Not Even the Trees. It talks about walking around lost, lonely, post-lost, the song won't tell us, but looking down and smiling. Does he realize he came and took you too soon? I'm a stranger in my home now that everybody's gone, and if I scream, will the trees bend down and listen to me? Nah. No one will listen to me, not even the trees. My word. Listening to this, I hadn't really been able to make out the lyrics that well because the vocals are a bit undermixed. But I want to say, putting this together, I was hearing the vibe this song was giving off in some part of my soul because, yeah, I want to scream, I want to laugh. I look around and parts of my soul are missing, and it's true. Sometimes the world seems cold and indifferent to the pain and loss we suffer, but in a million ways we're there for each other. The support we never know, even calling up the image of someone smiling down on us in our minds, in our dreams, knowing what we're going through and holding us through our loss and pain. Yeah. Something in my soul was hearing this message when I was re-listening to these songs for this. Meaningless. I dreamt recently I was moving into a new home, and this dream was unusual. My mom and dad and my sister were all in town to help me get my new place ready, and somehow I was looking around for a light switch. My sister had decorated the place with Christmas lights and landscaped my living room. Seriously, I had a lawn in my living room with a river flowing through it. I wondered how I was going to get a mower in there because the grass has already grown pretty tall, while Ralph and I were figuring out where we should all go and eat. We were all there. We were all getting along. My mom was talking to me about how to arrange the plants. She had plants and these plant holders, and my dad was thinking the mower could go on the other side of the bridge when I woke up. Silly as most ridiculous possible dream, probably, but it was good to see everyone being themselves and getting along. I'm not one to read much into dreams, but I loved that image. My home bursting with light and life, completely impractical, but still, in the moment, so entirely my home, and everyone I loved most was there, and they were all getting along. If that was a gift from anyone, I'm not returning it. Hootie and the Blowfish's cracked rear view from 1994 is a memory box with cool and interesting comments on time and relationships and life, and I was happy to crack it open and take a few minutes with them. Just enjoy this vibe. Breakouts. From artists with multiple tracks in my collection, I have been chomping at the bit to talk to you about Halestorm. Oh, I miss the misery. I remembered I loved this track when it came out, but I'd never added it to my collection, so I pulled it in ahead of this production. But then I saw where they'd done a cover of Lady Gaga's Bad Romance, and I was like, perfect. The band, fronted by Lizzie Hale, is just raw, real rage, demanding realness in her relationships. I've been a mess since you stayed. Have been a wreck since you changed. Apparently, after the anger management course and follow-up intervention by the county, local police, and property management, this couple's relationship has become far too tame, and Lizzie is pissed. I miss the lies and the pain, the fights that keep us awake, she sings, falling asleep in this safe space. I miss the bad things, the way you hate me, miss screaming the way that you blame me, miss the phone calls when it's your fault, miss the late nights, don't miss you at all. I like the kick in the face, and the things you do to me, I love the way that it hurts. I don't miss you, I miss the misery. Oh, Lizzie, well, I think we've all been in our 20s and tried to put up with other people living in our home, building relationships with them, and we don't have anything in common beyond finding them attractive, so the fights and screaming and physical violence. Lady, take up kickboxing. This is not okay. You can do the rough sex that leaves you a mess without actively trying to send each other to the ER, unless that is, well, not to yuck anybody's yum, but this doesn't sound sustainable. It sounds like if your partner isn't actively antagonizing you, you're not satisfied. I don't know, is that the kind of energy you want in your home? Is it not a home if you're not slamming doors and screaming at each other? Because your home should be a safe place. I don't know, when I first heard this song, my thoughts were that she's actively seeking this out. It seemed to proudly eschew loving, mutually supportive relationships, the kind of emotional violence a younger me savored in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, but now just sounds immature, singing out pain or rage because the alternative is boredom. I feel like that's not a great approach to life, but to each their own. Just keep 911 on speed dial, I guess. The other one I added was Bad Romance, and I absolutely love this song. I love the Hitchcock references, and it struck me putting this together that Harvey Danger singing Carlotta Valdez was itself another feature-length reference to Vertigo in this set. Way more glancing here, more of a shout-out, really, but just as fun. I want your psycho, your Vertigo shtick. Want you in my rear window, baby, you're sick. I want your love. Love, 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 I want your love. Sparks. I debated running the next two under Sparks, artists with one entry in my collection, because I've already talked about one in Influences, but the Led Zeppelin tribute Encomium features the Hey, Hey, What Can I Do cover by Hootie and the Blowfish. Actually, a pretty good fit for their vibe, honestly, and Custard Pie by Helmet with vocals by David Yao, which was just filthy. Speaking of covers, I have Hole's take on Gold Dust Woman, which is in here from the Crow soundtrack, which I'm not sure what it is about that song, between the whole Stevie Nicks and the Coven season of American Horror Story, and the generally dark vibes of that song. I associate it with a kind of Ryan Murphy sort of nip-tuck kind of a vibe. Right on, ancient queen, etc. But somehow Courtney Love's vocals add edge and clarity to these lyrics. In the same way Lizzie Hale's do in Bad Romance, the singers bring some intriguing energy. Not that Lady Gaga was in any way subtle in her performance, but it's Lizzie Hale, for freak's sake. She had the snuggle struggle, the date nights that end in county lockup. You get the sense that Lady Gaga's Bad Romance involves a masquerade at the Cosmopolitan with cigarette holders, while Lizzie Hale's involves cigarette burns. Meanwhile, Courtney Love's Gold Dust Woman may well make you cry, make you break down, shatter your illusion of love when she tell you it's over now. Do you know how to pick up the pieces and go home? Well, tell me, did you make you cry, make you break down, shatter your illusion of love? Well, tell me, is it over now? Do you know how to pick up the pieces and go home? Beautiful work, keeping with the cinematic. Oh, here's a fun Depression-era revival. In the Coen Brothers' 2000 film Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, used Henry McClintock's 1928 release, A Big Rock Candy Mountain. It's a charming little wish fulfiller for poor folks seeking a life of ease, or at least a break. Brother Hobo journeying on to a land that's far away behind the crystal fountain. Come on with me, we'll go and see the Big Rock Candy Mountain. Lakes of stew and whiskey, hens lay soft-boiled eggs, the chief antagonists in the hobo's life, the railroad enforcers and the police, are rendered powerless. The brakemen have to tip their hat, and the railroad bulls are blind. The jails are made of tin. You can walk right out again as soon as you are in. There ain't no short-handled shovels, no axes, saws, or picks. I'm gonna stay where we sleep all day, where they hung the jerk who invented work in the Big Rock Candy Mountain. Don't really need a lot of analysis on that one. It's just plain vision boarding for people living through tough times. It's not hard to understand the draw for something that's part statement and part humor. There's a lake of stew and a whiskey too. You can paddle all around them in a big canoe in the Big Rock Candy Mountain. I haven't really spent a lot of time with these collections, but for a few shows I was in Minot, I had occasion to pull up different songs from the 50s and 60s, released in a CD set under a When We Were Young title. Mostly I was getting in the mindset of an era, and these songs were little cultural time capsules, including P.S. I Love You by the Hilltoppers. The song is a letter written to a lover, apparently away on a trip. Was it dusty on the train? And indications he's at home and not managing especially well on his own. I burned a hole in the dining room table, but in the end, everybody's thinking of you. And P.S. I love you. The attitude of the singer is genial and the image is mundane, but the repeated refrain is one of longing, which, no, this guy really can't be on his own for any amount of time. Hurry back, please, while the place is still standing. Closing on a somewhat stronger note, I pulled in Highly Suspect's My Name is Human, a club reel concept piece from 2016. By then we'd had Shirley Manson, lead vocalist for Garbage, step into a couple different roles as android bent on world destruction. First in video for the Bond theme, The World Is Not Enough in 1999, and then in Terminator, The Sarah Connor Chronicles in 2009. The video released in 2016 had lead singer Johnny Stevens supervising and directing the creation of a feminine android, highlighting different stages of development, physicality, mass production, intellect, and curiosity, but always framed as his creation and interchangeable, which I guess without the video I'd thought of the song as vaguely defiant. With the video it's vaguely troubling, but whether the intelligence expressed is artificial, marginalized, or empowered, the voice it's taken on sounds ready to assert itself. So, to whatever power that inspired, I'd say, awaken. Get up off your knees, girl. Stand face to face with your God. Find out what you are. Hello, my name is human. Hello, my name is human. And I came down from the stars. Hello, my name is human. And that'll wrap us up for the H's. Thank you all so much for checking in on me as I poke around in my music collection. As always, anything that might have reminded anyone of singing in this or any VideoFuzzy production, let me assure you that it wasn't. Any low-bar karaoke attempts you may have encountered in this tiny little indie project would only have been included for illustrative purposes as part of fair use review and certainly weren't meant to infringe on anyone's licensing, copyright, or distribution agreements. Go forth, buy songs, support the artists you love. Meanwhile, please add, follow, and subscribe to VideoFuzzy the Soundtrack wherever you get podcasts. You can check out my more media-centered commentary over on VideoFuzzy, and with any questions, comments, or artist suggestions, please contact me through my show notes or by email to tjaman1970@yahoo.com. For VideoFuzzy the Soundtrack, I'm Terry J. Aman. Happy listening!